We're back on the hunt for bargain steelbooks, and even better than that, this episode I'll be giving away one of the steelbooks we find to one of you lucky viewers. So join me, Steelbook Hunting in CEX. Again, folks, and welcome back to Steelbook Hunting in CEX, the series in which every episode we hit up 2 CEX stores on the hunt for bargain steelbooks. That's because if you've never seen this series before, more often than not, CEX charge the same price for the steelbook version of a game as they do the standard version. And for this reason, you can build an incredible steelbook collection on a budget. That's exactly what I've done over the past 18 episodes. And today we are adding even more bargain steelbooks to the collection. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button and please subscribe, as I put new videos out every Saturday night at 5, as well as bonus content throughout the week. I really want you folks along for the ride. I want to invite everyone to come and join the Dan the Gamesman family over on Discord. You get a free 14-day trial at the moment, and we'll be giving away a steelbook we find in this very episode over on the Discord. Come and join the family. The first CEX store we are hitting up this time, Steelbook Hunting in CEX, is St Albans. Now, this is a fairly small CEX store, but we all know by now we do not judge a CEX store by its size, we judge it by its contents. And this is one of the fastest I've ever found a steelbook in CEX. And one absolute bargain here. Batman Arkham City for the PlayStation 3 for just £2. Definitely picking that one up. But let's see if we can find anything else here in the PlayStation 3 section. Sadly not. But going over to the 4K Blu-ray section, which is a section I don't normally look for steelbooks in, there was a really nice selection of steelbooks here. Now, I don't really pick up steelbooks for Blu-rays, 4K Blu-rays, DVDs, anything. I'm only sticking to video games, even though I've got to admit there was some very, very tempting steelbooks here in this CEX store. Getting back on track, we're hunting in the PlayStation 5 section. Now, I'm genuinely surprised how infrequent it is that I find steelbooks here in the PlayStation 5 section. You will think because these games are some of the newest released games, there'd be a higher chance to find a steelbook here, but unfortunately, nothing this time. So over to the Xbox Series X section, which is a similar story. It's actually surprising how infrequently I find steelbooks in this section. It's more the PlayStation 4 and Xbox 360 sections where we tend to find our steelbooks, so hopefully we'll find something there. So heading on to the Xbox One section, and this is a steelbook I've been waiting to pick up for a very long while. I have tried to be patient and wait for this one to drop in price, but it just never seems to go down. So the time to buy something is the time you see it, and I'm grabbing that one, as well as this, which you may have seen in a previous episode of the Crazy World of CX. I'm going for a complete collection of these Lego sleeves for all of the Lego games because it's a really fun subset to collect for in CX. We had some pretty good finds so far here in St Albans. Let's hope that luck continues here in the PlayStation 4 section. And there are a lot of copies of a lot of games here. A lot of FIFAs, a lot of Call of Duties. It just goes to show a lot of people are probably trading in these games or just trying to get rid of them. It was actually surprising how many multiples of games there were here in this CEX store. I did have a quick look through the PlayStation 2 section in case there was any steelbooks, because you never know, but this is quite probably the least likely place to find steelbooks in CEX. But if you don't look, you won't find, so it's always best to check. Now, when I first started Steelbook Hunting in CEX, it was fairly common to find Xbox 360 steelbooks, but over time, these are becoming less and less frequent. This was cool, this Death Edition of Dante's Inferno. Not a steelbook, but a very cool collector's edition. This is a steelbook I already have in my collection. Devil May Cry 4, a very nice steelbook, but I would say, as a general rule of thumb, it's definitely getting less common to find steelbooks here in the Xbox 360 section. And this was very cool to see, this copy of Need for Speed Carbon, the special edition with the cardboard sleeve. A really nice piece, which unfortunately I did leave behind today, but it was pleasantly surprising some of the rarer games here in the Xbox 360 section. Just sadly no steelbooks, but like I said, it's getting more and more uncommon to find steelbooks, sadly, here in the Xbox 360 section. We're doing pretty well so far. 1 CEX store down and 2 Steelbooks to add to the collection. Let's hope that luck continues in our second store here at Hatfield. A slightly larger store, so fingers crossed we can find some more Steelbooks. Straight to the PlayStation 3 section, and we find a Steelbook very, very quickly. But this is one of the issues with Steelbook Hunting in CEX. It's all about condition. Now, the camera doesn't make this very obvious, but sadly this copy of Brothers in Arms was pretty battered. Dare I say war damage, so I did decide to leave that one behind. Scrolling through the rest of the PS3 games, and sadly nothing else to see here. So let's move on to our next section. As well as hunting for Steelbooks in CX, I always keep an eye out for cardboard variants, such as this right here, this Ratchet & Clank All for One. Now this was at the special edition price, so I did decide to pass on that one, and honestly the condition wasn't quite perfect. Heading into the Xbox 360 section, and we found this other cardboard edition here of Deadfall Adventures. It's a game that's not really on my radar, so I did decide to pass on it. Then we found another Steelbook here, GTA 5. A Steelbook I already have in my collection, so I did decide to pass and leave it for the next game hunter. As a general rule, I would say most Xbox 360 sections and indeed PlayStation 3 sections in CX all around the UK are slowly, sadly shrinking. But this was a really large Xbox 360 section, but unfortunately we didn't manage to find any more Steelbooks here. On to the PlayStation 4 section, and we have the first of 2 cardboard sleeved trilogies here, starting off with a Bioshock trilogy, which was a bit rough, so I did leave it behind. Then we have the Dark Souls trilogy. Now, I just don't think I have the patience for Dark Souls games, so even though this was in really good condition, I did decide to pass on this one. Now, I would say, from experience, the PlayStation 4 section is statistically the most likely place to find Steelbooks in any CX store. It seems to be where I find most of my Steelbooks when I am hunting in CX, but sadly, not today. Our penultimate section here in Hatfield is the Xbox Series X and Xbox One section, and I believe this is a section in the coming years which will see more Steelbooks. But it definitely seems like the theme of today isn't Steelbooks, sadly it's cardboard variants. As once again, here we have the Bioshock trilogy, which I do think looks better on the PlayStation 4, so I'd be more likely to pick up that copy if I found it in good condition. But we've still got some really nice cardboard variants here, including Mafia trilogy, another one I would like to pick up in the future, and this one which was tempting, PES 2016. It was super cheap and it was just a basic cardboard sleeve, a nice little variant, but I'm not really massively into my football games. Another copy of Mafia trilogy here. It's a game I see fairly commonly in CX, but it's just finding it in that tip-top condition. On to our final section here in Hatfield then, and it is the PlayStation 5 section. A section which, again, historically, I have not had very much luck finding Steelbooks in. And I had all but given hope of finding any Steelbooks I needed for the collection this time in Hatfield. But it ain't over until it's over. I went up to the counter to buy some other games, and I spotted behind there was a very large selection of Steelbooks, and thankfully here in Hatfield we still managed to add a Steelbook to the collection. But we have one more stop, this time Steelbook Hunting in CX, as we're heading back to my local CX store here in the fine city of Norwich. As every time I go in, I'll always see if there's any bargain Steelbooks, and this time we managed to find one of the cheapest Steelbooks that CEX sell, and this was in such good condition. I just couldn't leave it behind. Even though I already have this Steelbook in the collection, I just had to grab it because it's just £2. It's in amazing condition, and even better, one of you lucky viewers will get to win this very Steelbook and add it to your Steelbook collection. And trust me, it's a beauty. Check this one out. You could be lucky and be adding this to your collection very soon. Let's take it back for the pickups. Here we are then, back in the game, so I was picking up 2 brand new stores, Steelbook Hunting in CX. In our first store, St Albans, we managed to find an absolute bargain with this game right here for just £2, Batman Arkham City for the PlayStation 3. Now, if you didn't know, there are many different variants of this Steelbook. They all have the same front cover, but on the back is a different Batman character, and I have a few of them already in my collection. So first off we have, of course, the Joker. Then we have Two-Face, and then finally we also have Catwoman. Now, I couldn't remember which of these Steelbooks I already had in my collection, but thankfully the one we picked up from St Albans was the Penguin, which now means I have 4 different variants of this Steelbook in my collection just for the PlayStation 3. I think I also have some Xbox 360 variants, but comment down below if you know how many of these Steelbooks they made for this one game. But that's not all we picked up from St Albans this time. We also managed to pick up a Steelbook which I've been waiting to drop in price for a very long time. Now, I'm a patient man, but my patience only goes so far. You saw in today's episode there were some Steelbooks I left behind because I know eventually they'll go down in price, but this one, the price just seems stuck. So I picked up this copy of Halo Infinite. Now, I actually really enjoyed Halo Infinite. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, but I thought it was a solid entry into the Halo franchise, and this Steelbook's in fantastic condition. It's complete with the slipcase, and well, you'll see very quickly why I wanted this Steelbook in the collection, because this is an absolute beauty. Now, I have first played this game on Games Pass. This is the only copy of this game I have physically because I just wanted to hold out for the Steelbook because, well, honestly, just look at it. The second store we hit up this time was Hatfield, and I must admit, I was worried we weren't going to find any Steelbooks in store. But more often than not, a lot of CEX stores don't leave their Steelbooks out on the shelves. They leave them behind the counter. And that was the case this time in Hatfield, so I'm glad I checked there as I picked up a Steelbook I've been wanting to pick up for a very long while. It's this game right here, Beyond a Steel Sky. And once again, much like Halo Infinite, this is in incredible condition with the slipcase. And this is a game I've been wanting to play for a very long while. I just love this cyberpunk aesthetic, and once again, this is an absolutely beautiful Steelbook. This also comes with a copy of the soundtrack digitally and some stickers, because who doesn't love stickers? But somewhat more importantly, this Steelbook is actually really good looking on the inside, as it has this really cool comic art. Like I've said, this is a game I've been wanting to play for a very long while, so very happy to finally pick up the Steelbook version of this game. Which brings us on to our final Steelbook pickup, this time from right here in the fine city of Norwich. It's this copy of Middle-earth: Shadow of War for the Xbox One. Now, much like Batman Arkham City, there are many different versions of Steelbooks for this specific game. And I wasn't sure at the time if I already had this one in the collection, but for £2, because just look at it, there was no way I was taking the risks. But thankfully for you viewers, I do already own this one in the collection, so I'll be giving it away over on Discord. So check the description of the video, join the Discord on your free 14-day trial, and who knows, maybe this Steelbook will be in your collection very soon. There we had it, folks. That was another episode of Steelbook Hunting in CEX, and 3 brand new bargain Steelbooks to add to my ever-growing collection. And trust me, you never know what you're going to find in your local CEX store, but it's always worth Steelbook Hunting in CEX. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and join me next time to find out if we strike out or strike steel, Steelbook Hunting in CEX. See you all soon!